Okay, welcome. Welcome. My name's Brian Knight and I live near Melbourne in Australia. And it's just after 5 a.m. on a Wednesday for me here. Wednesday? Yes, a Wednesday. The other day. And welcome. Good to see you there, Darren. Looks like you're traveling. And welcome, Grace, too. So let me just share this first, just so that we have a bit of a risk disclosure there. So welcome to this analysis session. This is purely educational. Like, hey, we're all here learning. That's the thing, and hopefully these sessions can help you along the journey. We'll see how we go. There is a full risk disclosure and a little bit about us as live session traders. Then I'll just share also to my trading platform.
Oh,
Welcome, Tom.
hey, Brian.
You're moving a vehicle, so that's all right.
Yep.
So here's a trading platform. What am I? I don't know. I haven't worked out the percentage. I'm not too concerned. It's just probably about 25% up on a very small, it's only a small account. Um, so there are quite a few trades. One trade I took yesterday out of our session was um, the GBP AUD. I took a sell on that one. It is in negative by 27 pips. That's okay. There is your AUD that's keeps hovering and just, sitting around that few pips down, few up, few down, playing around. The AUD USD is also similar, but it is positive by 5, sort of countering that one. And the CAD's down the 21. So these are the sort of the three trades that keep moving up and down within the same sort of range. And it's been like that for a week and a half or so. Yeah? But then there's other ones, for example, the GBP, JPY, all the JPYs are just increasing and increasing. So that's like 419 pips up now. That's quite a percentage, I think, if I go and look at from a stop loss perspective anyway. Every one of them has a stop loss in place. Yes, Tom, I watched that little, what was it? A little thing you dropped in the gentleman that was talking about trading. So true. Every point he made. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah. Apparently, that guy's a well-renowned trader.
yeah, probably is too. But yeah, no, it was absolutely spot on, So if you're in profit, take it. If you get stopped out, you stopped out. You walk away. If you haven't got a stop loss, you're crazy.
Yep.
If you only got a middle stop loss, forget it. It's like
Yep.
absolutely so true. But it takes years to maybe learn those processes. Anyway, so that's where I am at the moment. I mean, yeah, it's probably, I don't know, might even be more like 30% up. So we got $700 account, 740, and I'm up about nearly 300. So it's probably even more than that. Oh gosh, probably about no, 45% up maybe. Anyway, that's only in a couple of weeks. And the only thing I'm doing is I'm looking at trend, overall trend, looking at where it is, using some of the indicators we've been using, for example, like Darren's been using in longer term, and then sort of trading off the daily, basically. All right, let's go and look at charts. I want you to go look at the trading view. Here we go. Now, if you've got any questions, I don't know if you've got questions there, Grace, or that. Anybody else? Yeah. So I'm just keep monitoring it on a daily basis, like we've always been doing. But probably, just taking the plunge in on what it is of where the trends are. So fundamentals are the other thing that's important. It's like, well, in the longer term, what are those currencies doing within those countries where they're at? So I don't know, do we have any sort of outcome from the FOMC? We've got to go look for the AUD USD. Hang on, we'll have a look there. So the Aussie dollar sort of pushed up a bit from that. So what speech we don't get to see anything out? No. So what have we got? Oh no, that's today. Your US today. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, UK today. Or this afternoon. That's at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock this evening. I don't know if that's right, Darren. If you can, I don't know if you can speak or not. 7 o'clock tonight, there's a FOMC minute. So it depends on what will happen from that sort of point there. And I would suggest that maybe we might potentially get a push up from there. So I'll just go back to the CAD. Same sort of situation, been going sideways, yet drawing up from a daily perspective. It has pulled back from the Canadian there. So what do we got? That was just RBA minutes. When's that? That was today. Balance of trade is tomorrow on Canadian balance of trade, and then there's the unemployment rate, which is later, which is on the Friday. Okay. Forecast that the unemployment in the Canada may go up. Okay. Oh yeah. So what I'm looking for on this is for it to potentially break the high here. Yeah. It's pulled up, pulled down, up, down. But maybe potential news that might come down and stop me out, or potentially it'll push up and go further up. My sort of assessing, here we go across here. It's come up to the 61.8 and pulled away. I can see it coming potentially to 71 or 78.6 even. There's a fair bit of room in there. There is also a lot of imbalance over to the left here, right? So if I look at it further, like here, right? Low down here, high up here, and just sort of the most sort of recent, what have we got? That's 2020, that's 21. So I went from low to a high, it pulled back down, didn't break the low, pushed back up, matched out there, or actually came a bit higher, pulled back down, didn't break the low, pushed up. So where I'm looking at it at the moment is it's come off these lows and it's pushing back up, potentially to break this high. Potentially to break the high and then pull back down again. So there's room in here for me at the moment, I see it, to go further into buy. Now, this is AUD CAD, then I'll think about the fundamentals, and I think, well, the Aussie dollar is nowhere near lowering its interest rate, potentially raising interest rate in August. Canada has lowered its interest rate and is potentially in a recession situation. Yeah? So, you can see the news here that how to position for a possible Canadian recession, right? And you take this with a grain of salt. So I'm still in this trade. I haven't really gone anywhere with it. It hasn't really made any profit on it. I'm still looking, though, for it to buy. That's my commitment at this point. I have a stop loss in place. So if it does pull back, I'm out of it. Okay. Any questions about that one? I'm not saying you take a trade in it. It's within the rail. There was a green triangle down here. It hasn't given us any red triangle on my settings. So I can, again, there's the reason for it to actually buy. So there, I'm sort of stacking the reasons maybe in my favor. If you can think of reasons why it's going to sell out, then tell us. But it doesn't matter to me because I suppose I've still got a stop loss in place, and I'm only going to be risking about 0.5% probably, I think. All right. Hopefully, Grace, this is helpful for you, particularly for longer term type trades. Right. And I'm in a buy trade. You can see I've got a green flag on that currency pair. Okay, AUD CHF. This is definitely going, the Swiss franc has actually had two rate cuts. It came down here. It didn't give us a green triangle. So, some people may not have taken this, but I've been in the buy on this when it changed into a green on the trend bar. All right. So let me just have a look at where I'm at with that one. AUD CHF. I'm up there. So up, 80 pips or so on this one. I tend to, and if I look at it here, I tend to think, well, hey, it is potentially going to break the high up here. Potentially break that, then come back down, and then go back up again. Right? Because it's come off these lows, and the trend seems to be that it's pushing back up from August last year. Yeah. Okay. So that's where that one is. And I don't think it's not too late to get into a trade on that one. You want it's pushed past the middle, it's still green in there, it's still going up. It's not doing it at what you would call a rate of knots or anything, but it is successfully profiting. ADJPY keeps pushing up. All right, it's coming toward. Hang on, I'm going to have to probably do a monthly on this one, so you can see it. Yeah. Let's fix that chart. Yeah, you can see here. Oh, there. You can see the previous high. Price is coming up towards that most previous high. Sorry, the most likely. I mean, before that, I've got no record. This is, back in 99, 2000. Basically, price went up, came up a peak, came back down to a low, right? September 2008, then came back up again, 13, popped back up again, 14, dropped down at 2020, March 2020, which was COVID thing, and then basically it's been pushing up from there. I'm not going to change my stance on a buy on this until at least it's gone past this previous high. I'll go back to the daily so you can see where it's at. Reset there. There we go. But so far this year, it has pushed further and further and further up. All right, price is now. And there's a little bit further to go before, if we say, in a way, all-time high. I think it will break that, and then we'll look at potentially sells out of it. Yeah. I think I got into it back here about, I don't know, wherever it is. Where am I? ADJPY. I'm up 228 pips at the moment. Yeah. With a relatively tight stop loss on it as well. I can because it just kept moving in that direction. Okay, AUD NZD. Put the patch on. This is I'll pull it back up again. So about a 30 pip stop loss. I'm up about 7% on this one. Now, I think Darren was saying that he's out of this trade because it's come up and hit the other side of his rail. I'm still in this trade at this point. I think it has further to push. And I think that the Aussie dollar will push past that previous high here. It'll so this was the high in May, 7th of May. I think it'll push past that. And you can see there are other highs up here that I think it'll break this, pull back a bit, and then potentially break the second one. Still in a buy. Right now, New Zealand hasn't lowered its interest rate. I don't think it's likely to anytime soon, a bit like Australia, but it's obviously the Aussie dollar is stronger than what the New Zealand is. Okay, what's this one? No. So there's no news from New Zealand as such. All right. So in a buy and continuing to buy. I know it's probably I've got a trailing stop on it, so it's I don't know, whatever, 50 pips or so behind. I adjusted them all by yesterday, and so they're all in a not all trades, but majority of my trades are in a stop profit situation currently. Yeah. So if the market turns, I'm just going to profit. Maybe I didn't tell you. Where is it? Hang on. Let's have a look. 2 trades already. I did show you yesterday, I think. GBP CAD and Euro CAD both stop profited out, right? And the only 2, I think it was the GA and GBP CHF or GBP CAD. I can't remember. I've only had 2 losses so far in the month. Okay, only small losses because they came back to my actual stop loss as a loss. So I've got 2 that have stop profited as well. Okay. Then, so does anybody think I'm crazy? There's no crazy commitment. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, about what?
Trading like I'm trading.
No, you seem to be
Okay.
doing.
Seems to be going okay at this point.
Yeah, I would say you're doing above average, dude.
Now we'll just see how we go. Yeah. And just I'm wanting to be, the whole time I want to be transparent about what I'm doing and how it's working. Right. AUD Singapore. I'm not in this trade. I would like to be in a buy on this trade. You can see where it's come up. It's broken slightly this previous high. There are more highs up here. Just got to mark that one off there. And there's also 2 up here. And then you can go a lot further up. Anyway, where price is, currently, it's come off this low down here November last year, right? It hasn't broken this low. Back here, this is April this year, and it seems to be pulling up at the moment. It's nowhere near the rail. So this is one I'd probably, I don't know, it's not moving any great rate, but I'd like to potentially get into a trade on this. Let me just see. And I don't care where it is at the moment. I'll see if I can get into the trade because it's a small account. It may not allow me to take the trade. And over here, there. Yeah, it's a pretty small. Been sort of going sideways a bit up here, but when you look at it on the daily, It's got quite a few, positive day trades in here. I mean, he gave us a short there, but pulled down to the middle and pull back up again. So I'm going to a buy on this. Yeah. Just double check and see if I can get into a trade. Yes, I can. Right. Down by 2 pips at the start. Right now, what I'll do is I'll just set a stop loss down below there. Yeah, it's about 50 pips or so. We'll see.
So are you trading on all daily charts
Um, I still look at the 2 hour Grace, but yeah, I some of the trades have been taking, like if you look here, this could if I just go to the 2 hour, like, oops, that's not it. If I go to the 2 hour and look, and
now? Don't let me
it,
mess you up on your trade you just took.
no, no, no,
Did you
no,
get the
no,
okay?
no, not at all, not at all. So let me explain. On the 2 hour, you're still looking at a buy trend on this, right? In the shorter term. So we've got shorter term, longer term. It came out of this sideways movement and pushed up, right? And yes, you get triangles and pushed out and up and all this sort of stuff going on in the 2 hour. I'm just saying that on the daily, I'll come back to here, this is trending up. It's nowhere near the rail of the settings that I have anyway, which are not dramatically different to Darren or and Tom doesn't have the rails anymore. I, I'm just trading off what would be, for me, an overall trend. Now, it would have been nice to get into the trade down here. Like if I had got into the trade, like there isn't even any triangle here, right? Down below here. So I'm using the triangles as what would I say? From a daily perspective, I'm using them more of I would say danger, like in a way, a sort of a warning sort of situation. Okay. And so you don't always get, for example, here, it came out the other side or just came out the other side and then look, took off. What a great trade. I mean, look at that from that sort of point of view. That's 380 pips or so. Then it turned, right? So we can't always, but then again, this gave 2 red triangles on the daily. It's like that's um uh a warning or an insight into potentially a turn in the market, right? But we don't get any green one here to give us any sort of potential turn. So we sort of got to notice what's happening with structure. And then also too, well, what's happening fundamentally? Like if you look here, we go daily. See how it's sort of been sell, 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 sell. It's pulled there, pull back up, broken all this structure here, right? Then pull back down, didn't break the structure, and then it started taking off. So at any time here, at any point, and it gave us a long, right? Any point here, it's worth getting into the trade. It doesn't really matter. There's another long here. It would have been nice to get in. When was this? Back, Monday, Tuesday last week, or the week before even. Like that would have been a good time to get into the trade as well, because we've got a long and, it's hard to, like, you just look at it. But I couldn't take the trade then because I only have a small account and I hadn't built up any sort of collateral in that account to be able to take another trade, right? So you can see where I mean, this could sell out, but it's I don't know. I mean, there's no short, there's nothing at the moment, and I've got a stop loss in place. So what's the worst that could happen? I could lose sort of 0.5%. That's it, right? But what I am looking at is some of the fundamentals on this. The Aussie dollar is not likely to lower its interest rates long term. We're talking long term for until next year sometime. So we've got 6, 8, 10 months before it's even thinking about lowering its interest rate. Potentially, it's going to raise it. Singapore's not in any situation at this point to raise interest rates at all. And just looking at the at where the structure is, it's broken this structure to the left. It pulled back down, didn't break too much structure down here, and then it's pushed back up again. Of course, it could pull back, but it's more likely for me at this point is push up and break this high here, because that's what sort of it's been doing, is pushing up. The market doesn't like to make a change in direction, like major in direction, until it's sort of got major news or the fundamentals sort of change within the structure. Yeah. I can't tell you what that was or why that April. I'm not sure. But in relation to Aussie dollar and Singapore, something would have happened around there for it to change direction. Does that answer your question at all? It's a long way of answering it, Grace.
Yes. Yes, that makes sense.
I'm not saying you take a trade at this. I'm just saying maybe you look at it from this sort of direction. Okay, so, it's 0.2 of a pip up already. Not that that makes any difference. It's going to go crazy with spreads in another hour and a half. And so I've got quite a buffer on my stop loss. Hopefully it doesn't do any more than 50 pips spread thing to chuck me out, but I'll tell you if it does, right? And then maybe, once we go into some sort of potential profit, I'll move the stop loss up. But I've just got to remember that every day around that sort of Aussie, when New York finishes and it goes into the Sydney Asian market, that there'll be a spread fluctuation. All right, here. So now every one of these pairs in the Aussie dollar are all in a positive trade. It's only AUD CAD and AUD USD that are not moving at the pace that the others are. Okay, AUD USD. You can see where it's going sideways here, right? In May, it peaked up here. What did it peak up to? 67, came back down a bit here, 65. It's just sort of playing around, all right? Let's see what happens at FOMC and non-farm payroll at the end of this week. The sort of mooting or the indication is the US dollar is sort of getting ready to potentially lower their interest rate of the US Fed. And if that does, and the Aussie dollar's not, then it could increase the price of the Aussie dollar against the US, similar to Canada. Yeah. It's around the middle or above the middle of the rail. I can see it coming up to the top of the rail at least. It may or may not break the high. But what I'm seeing is, again, from around April, it's around the same time. It's basically been buying. Yeah, it broke that structure, it pulled back, it didn't break this structure, but then it's pulling back up again slightly. Like it's a slow crawl, it's like a snail at the moment. But what I'm waiting for is that big push, either up or down. If it goes down, I've got a stop loss in place, so it doesn't really matter. All right, and it may pull down, stop me out, and then push straight up. Well, that's just the way it does things as well. All right. Let's go to CAD CHF. I'm in a buy on this. Where's the CAD CHF? Yeah, I'm up 46, 47 pips on this. It's been a nice day as well. Good push up past the middle rail. Yeah. And what I see here on a daily, Grace, it's been in sell. Around the start of the year, it started the buy. It pulled up, it came back down, didn't break the low, and now pushing up. And what I can sort of look for me anyway, is to push up, potentially break this high here, or not. It could come up here, bounce off, but to break the high and then come up here, even break this high before it pulls back down. I mean, it might pull back and then up and whatever. That's just what the market does. So in a buy on this, and I got in down here, and here's some of the comfort. You know, we have comfort food, for example. What's the weather like, Darren? Too, I meant to ask. You got it pretty warm over there, or like we're only like 1 degree 0 this morning, so it's freezing.
No, it's pretty rubbish for midsummer,
summer.
Brian.
Oh.
Terrible. We had a bit of a well, what we'd class as a hot spell there.
25 degrees or something.
Yeah, like last week, I think it got a bit warmer than that, but it's down to like sort of highs of about 16, something like that. At the minute,
That
which
is rubbish, isn't it? Oh God.
Even for us, that's rubbish.
So let's go. Comfort food in winter for me
Yeah.
is a little bit like these triangles here. It just gives me a bit of comfort that potentially this is what the direction that it will take, and then along will give me a little bit more comfort. So outside the rail, triangles, long, comfort. Then on top of that, you put the fundamentals. Canada has lowered its interest rate once. Swiss franc has lowered its interest rate 2 times. Yeah. So this is sort of the push. It's come to the middle, which is, I think Darren would have said, he just dropped off. Darren would have said this is a sort of the danger area, but it's pushed past that because it quite often around the middle, it will turn and come back, but it hasn't. It's pushed up further. So good trade at this point for me anyway. And it's not, again, it's not too late to get in if you want it. As long as you get your stop loss in place, all the rest of it, okay? And what I can, for me, envisage, again, potentially will come up, pull back and come up and break. But I have a stop loss I have a stop profit in place. So if it pulls back, it'll profit out, and then I'll look at potentially getting back in based upon what I see. KJ. Whoa, that pushed up nicely over the last 24 hours as well. All right. So there's no red triangle yet. There's no sort of, and if you look at this on a longer term, it's just pushing up and pushing up and pushing up. And I'll say this again, the market doesn't want to change unless something is going to happen, right? I mean, major sort of turn. If we're saying this is going to go into sell and break structures down here, it's only going to do that when something sort of more major comes into the situation, right? And where's the CAD-J up 304 pips. So probably around the 250 mark from where I entered is about where my stop profit is. All right. CHF JPY. This one for me is just going sideways. We've got a little bit of red on the trend bar. So I don't, like, hang on, we've got red triangles, which is not a big deal in relation to to the JPY. But the CHF has lowered their interest rate twice. Japan is in a sort of a bad way economically. And so that's why this sort of just going sideways at this point. Okay. And I'm just I've got a pink on it, which is I'm just looking at it. I'm not really considering being in a trade on it. Yeah, we'll see. We might get a sell. If I do, it's going to be a really short term sort of situation because overall the trend is still buy. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Then Euro AUD. Now, I'm not dealing with this. Okay. I'm in this, you can see it's a red flag, so I'm in a sell. It has pulled up, but in the last 24 hours, it has sold. Now, we do have a green triangle, so you go like, oh, caution, but I don't have any body outside of the rail. There's no sort of body of candle. There's only a little wick on one day, which was back on Wednesday last week, Thursday, Friday, and it's like Monday, Tuesday, sort of this week. Now, the euro have lowered their interest rate once. This big spike yesterday or today or the last 24 hours is really outcome of the French election, the European one of the elections. We've got, what is it? Tomorrow, is it today? I don't know. I can't remember. I think it's 2nd of July. No, it's 4th of July. 4th of July is the UK election. So that's yet to come. And that'll be, affect the British pound. So could affect back to the euros a bit as well. I still think that this is, even though it's done that sort of little bit of a green, I think we're still in a sell at this point. I mean, it has broken that low, pushed down and pull back up. It may pull up further, and if it does, I've got a stop loss in place, right? But it just seems to be hovering around. We'll just see how it goes. Okay. But for me, this has been in a sell. If you look at it from, where's this? 17th August 23, it's been selling. It may have, because it's now broken there, it may be doing a push back up because we've got this green triangle, but I'm not quite convinced as yet. So yeah, this is a little bit of a risky trade to a certain extent. Rightio. EuroCAD. All right. Yeah. A EuroCAD, I'm just looking at this one. I think this stop profited. Yeah, it did. See where this is, I'll just describe. So when we looked at the chart yesterday, it was a French election, pushed this up to the middle. Look where what it's done. It's pushed it back down, and nearly all of that it pushed up has been taken out, which I think it will do. Anyway, at the moment, I'm not in a trade on this. I'm just watching it. There's a blue tab, which is meaning like this could be potentially a good trade to be in. Yeah. But I didn't want to get into it. Once it pushed up, I thought it would pull back. So I'll just see how it starts out for this this next. So once the market opens, if it starts to push back up a bit, I'll look at potentially getting into the buy on this one. Yeah. Okay. Euro CHF, I'm in a buy on this already. And with Euro CHF, I'm up 90 pips on this one already. Yeah. And if we look, where are we? Here. Come off a long-term sell, buy, didn't break structure, pulled up, came down, sort of a spike, came down, did break structure there, but hasn't broken this, and now it's pushing back up again. All right. That's the low. That's the high. At this point, I mean, there's a lot more highs up here. Oop. I'll actually put that one in because I think that's important. So potentially it'll come up, break this high, pull back, and then potentially go looking for this one up here. I think it's in the buy trend at the moment. Against the Swiss franc, it is anyway. Okay, so that's that one. It's gone past the middle, so it's sort of like a little bit past the danger zone, or whatever. So still not too late to look at that. So Euro GBP, this one, see the push up, it took out the price gap. It's now pulled back down again. I'm just non-committed on this one at the moment. We've got the the UK election coming up, so I want to sort of stay out of it because that's kind of a major thing which will push the currency around a fair bit, and I want to see what happens post that. Does it continue to push it up, or will it actually break down past this low and keep going, even though we've got green triangles in here? Yeah. All right, Euro JPY, I'm in the buy, it's still pushing up. What am I? Where is it? Euro JPY, 400 pips now. Up. I have so it's probably about 350 or something, or whatever, roughly around there. I've probably got a stop profit, and it keeps pushing up. I don't think this is, we've got a red triangle there, push down. No red triangle yet. No warning or caution at the moment, right? Euro NZD just watching. It really would probably be. Let's have a look. Got to wait for the. There we go. So it is around that sort of middle danger zone area at the middle, but certainly could be in a buy on that. I mean, could have back here. See this green where it changed there? Would have been nice to get into that. Had it got in there somewhere. I mean, it'd be up by 180 pips by now, but anyway, that's the way it is. So the New Zealand dollar is certainly not performing that well. It's come down to this low again here and now pushing back up again. I think it will push further, right? It may not break the high up here, right? So just be cautious around where the rail is. We might get a red to push back down. Can you hang on just 1 second? I'll be back in just a moment. I just got to, go and turn something.
Hey, great. Great. Are you there?
There's no wait music on the back. I just had to turn the wood fire down because I put some wood in it, but it was blazing away. So yeah, it pushed up. It has been a significant push up and pull back down today. You can see it in that one candle. What is it? From there down there, it's sort of like 100 pips move from bottom to top in a way. So I'm still just observing. I'll just see what happens when it opens up. It'd be nice to get into potentially a trade on that one. Okay. Euro Singapore. This is also starting to buy up here, but I'm not really convinced on this one. If you look, see there's a lot of sideways stuff here. It's only going to go up and back down to it doesn't have a really big range, if that makes any sense. Yeah. But it certainly is buying, right? It's nowhere out to the rail. So I'm just watching. There are better trades, that's all. Euro USD. Same sort of thing. Wait for the rail to come in. There. It's nowhere near. It's sort of popped up to the middle, pulled back down. It's all over the shop. So not really a potentially good trade at this point. Okay, GBP AUD, and this is probably against maybe what I should have done. because of the election, but I could see this, for example, potentially maybe selling out. No, we've still got a red trend bar. Could be wrong. Hasn't made it out to the other side, but that's okay. If it does, I've got a stop loss in place. Yeah. Because all I can see at the moment is from up here, like this is March 24, it's just selling out, right? Pulled up, didn't break the high, pull back down again. It hasn't broken that low, but that's what I'm sort of looking at potentially for it to break this low, come down here, and then potentially push back up again. It's a quite a wavy pair, this one. Like it will wave up and down. This and GN as well does a very similar sort of thing. Anyway, I'm in on a short on this, very late, but like, hey, that's what I'm doing. GCAD. All right, what am I on? No, I don't. That's blue, so I don't have a GCAD. Oh, that's one I got stop profited. Yeah. So it's done a push back up again. I don't know. Again, this will be down to the election. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Darren's not around now, so I don't know what the forecast will be for what the currency will do once the outcome of the. If it's anything like the French election, it'll probably buy. So we'll see. And maybe that GA might not be the right direction for that. We'll see. GBP CHF. This one also too on. I'm going to buy on this. I mean, longer term, it's been buy. It's pulled back, gave us a green triangle, went along, and off it goes. So that's a little bit of comfort in it. That's pushed. It's gone past the middle, and it's pushing further up. Yeah. GBP CHF. Where am I? This one. 133 pips up on it. Okay. GBP JPY. I think one of the things, oh no, we'll use the JPY one. So one of the things is like I've always been, what was it? Prejudice to a certain extent. If a pair is in an extreme, I would just keep away from it until it would change or whatever. I'm sort of looking at things a little differently now, in the fact that because it's in that trend, it's like I'm willing to sort of take it on a bit for it to continue that trend as well. So GBP JPY, where is that one in my GJ? AF 420 pips. Thank you very much. So I've got a stop profit in place on that as well. So that's what you do, just adjust it each day, just like that guy that Tom put in the chat. GBP NZD. I'm not watching this really. It's probably against, it hasn't come down here. We've got a green, we've got a long. It probably is a good option to get into a buy. But again, election, I'm not going to worry at this point. I'm not going to commit at this point. I'll see what happens. And if I do, then it might push further. So GBP Singapore, same. I'm just looking at this as overall, there's a push up. There's been a pullback, and now it's pushing back up here. I'll wait for election and we'll have a look. It's turned green on the trend bar, but and at the middle, that sort of danger zone, pull up and potentially break that high. We'll just see. GU, I'm in. This has got a bluey sort of thing. I don't know at the moment. It's gone, red to green to red. I don't know. It's in that sort of danger zone area at the moment. It is blue that I've got it, but I'm still wait till the election's over. All right. That because that's a major thing. Right. I just don't want to be knocked out straight away and then have to sort of follow. NZD CAD. I'm in a sell on this. Where's my NZD CAD? 64 pips, right? I'm in a sell, even though it's pulled up and it's pushed back down here. Still red on the trend bar. Still in a sell, all right? Red ones up here, outside the rail, short. It's more, potentially it'll come to the other side of the rail. Hopefully. And fundamentally, New Zealand dollars not going real great at this point. Yeah. Anyway, New Zealand and Swiss franc I'm watching. It's a blue because potentially I might get into if I can get into a buy on it. If you look at it here, it's been buying. It has done a pullback. It's now sort of in the push to come up and break this high here. That's how I see it. That's the high there. We've got a low down there. See that? See how it's come off that low? It just keeps coming up. I see it breaking that high there, then pulling back. Anyway, it'd be good to potentially get into a trade on that. Yeah, I'm not at the moment. New Zealand Japanese yen keeps pushing. New Zealand Japanese yen, 117 pips on this one. Not as fruitful as maybe the GJ or EJs, those sort of ones. But that's okay. Still quite positive on it. Even though we've got some red triangles there, it's just caution. And then it's continued to push up. New Zealand and US, I'm on a sell on that one. And it's doing quite well. New Zealand, US, 64 pips as well on this. It's a little jagged, but it's okay. Better go and get the rail on it. Oh, Darren's back.
Brian, I was just checking into old sale. Apologies for that.
No, you're right. No worries at all.
On my travels again.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So the NU I'm in this is a sell, comfort up there, rails here, push down. The short was back here, but I've been in this for a little while. Sort of past the danger zone, pulling back. So it's good. Singapore and Japanese yen. That one. 220 pips up on this one. And it keeps going. We did get a little red triangle there because of that sell one day, but it's pushed further up. This keeps going too. UCAD, I've got that pink on there. Don't like it. It's just jumping all over the place. Forget it. USD CHF, I'm in a buy on that, and it is pushing up. All right. USD CHF, what am I on that one? 94 pips up on this. Probably got into this later anyway, but green triangle long. It's just telling you that it's pushing up. UJ, same thing. UJ, I'm up 358 pips on this one. Yeah. And it keeps pushing. It's pushed past that high. So it's gone past its, if we go to the monthly, you'll see. Right. If you look at this is back in 2000, right? On 99. It's nowhere near. Like that's the lowest it got, 75. It's up 160. It's at 161 at the moment. And it doesn't look like it's stopping. Right? So that was its most previous high, 134. It's 161 now. That's That's a massive, massive move. Okay. So yeah, keeps pushing. Right. USD and Singapore, I'm just monitoring. It is pushing up. I haven't got into that trade. It's a bit choppy for me. Yeah. And then we go on to gold. It's only sideways. There's your high, there's your low, most recent. So this is back in May to middle of stop May. It's sort of just sat in that middle again. Depends on what happens. It might move around from non-farm payroll, but it's not something that I want to. I think Darren's probably still in a sell on this. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm still in this and silver as well.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. You were doing silver
Both
too.
sells, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they've sort of pulled back, haven't they, on it? They have been more on a long-term buy though. So whether that was, from the end of May, it's starting to sell. But yeah, okay, good. Bitcoin's down to, well, no, it just pulled down the last 61, 62 US. And then where's your oil? Oh, 83 popped up. Oh no, it's pulled back just a little bit today.
No, I'm out of it now, Brian. It hit the top of the
Oh, that's
rail.
right. It hit the top of
Yeah.
the rail. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
nice trade. I'm quite happy with that one.
Yeah. Well, it could push a bit further before it actually. So there's two options. It'll either change here and won't break the high, or it'll break the high and then pull back down.
Yeah.
So we don't have a triangle yet. So what did you do? Do you think on your rules, fair enough, but maybe it's earlier than you needed to.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah. I suppose it's a classic example based on the rules I'm following, isn't it? It pushed out of the bottom rail,
Yeah.
a body outside candle, etc.,
Yeah.
etc.
Gave the long, changed
Yeah.
the trend
Up it
bar,
went.
off it went, yeah.
Top of the rail. So
Hit the top of the rail, yeah. Well, that's what you want. That's your rules. That's good. You're keeping to it.
it is, but I'm going to
yeah.
I have to sort of pay more attention to fundamentals. Really, I talk about them a lot, but
Yeah.
then I let the rules sort of take over sometimes. And
but that's not a bad thing, though, Darren. If you've got them and they're hard fast, you can, it depends. If that gives you comfort in it, then it's better off to do that, isn't it?
oh, it does. But I think what I need to try and avoid is trying to trade against the fundamentals just based on the rules. So obviously I started the year with January through to March with about sort of 18 wins out of 19 or something, and I thought, well, this is great, and I don't need to worry about fundamentals. Just keep taking the trades, and then I had a bit of a rough time, largely because of the JPY fails. So, but had I, taken far more attention to the fundamentals, I'd never have taken those sells.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. So that's.
Or no, you could have taken the sells, but you would have got out of them when it turned.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. Or you could have had then a trailing stop, which would have stop profited you, and then you would have been out of them to get into the buy. Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. Good one. Oh, that was nice. We got a good one out of oil. All right. And the cocoa's just sort of pulled back up slightly in the last day, but still, it might pull further. We've got a couple of green triangles in there. I don't tend to trade it, but anyway. Well, there's your lot. How does that seem? It's pretty, like we're really going over where I'm at and why and that sort of thing. But I mean, as I said, I took a AUD Singapore trade today while we're on. We'll just see how that goes. And then the GBP AUD, but that may, I took that though, knowing that the election was coming on the 4th, but we'll just have to see what happens. you know, it could go one way or the other on it, knock me out or whatever. We'll see. We will see. And it'll be interesting, Darren, to see what the election outcome does to the currency.
Well, it seems to be the polls are suggesting it's a foregone conclusion. So I think unless there's a bit of a surprise result, then I'm expecting there won't be much of an impact. You know, so
Oh wow.
you know, Labour Party are like 20 points ahead in the polls. They have been for consistently for months and months. With no,
They've
no
only,
real change.
they've basically only got to sit on their hands and do nothing, do they?
Yeah, but if they get a majority that's a lot smaller than expected, then you might see something happen with the pound, perhaps. But
Okay.
who knows?
Well,
Who
who
knows?
does? That's right.
Yeah.
All right then, no problems.
Okay.
Yep. All right, I leave you with it. Any questions there, Tom?
No, I'm good. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah.
All right, no worries then. Have a good sleep there, Darren, and I'll see you again tomorrow.
Cheers,
Oh, look
cheers,
at
by
that.
the way.
Oh, look at that. And he's traveling. Yeah, rightio.
He's living the life, man.
Yeah.
Well, he's got profit out on oil. Why not just, you know, have a
No.
couple of cool
Hey.
ones?
Well, this is on company expenses, so I'm not even spending my oil profits yet.
Well, there you go. Look, he's getting it both ways now.
You know, if you were in the States and you were doing this meeting and having that beer with the meal, you could write that off on your taxes. That's a business expense. That's why I always talk trading at dinner.
Well,
Trading at dinner, yeah.
there we go. Yeah.
All right. Until tomorrow, everyone. Take it easy.